Dear students, hope everybody is hale and hearty. Today I will share an overview of strategy evaluation and control, one of the topics of business policy and strategic management. All must be knowing the meaning of strategy itself. It is a course of action undertaken in the competitive environment. Strategic evaluation is simply taking the feedback of chosen strategy. It is well defined by Peter F. Drucker as creating balance between output and the efforts made. Now the question arises, why strategic evaluation should be done? So under this head we'll be discussing all these points. The very first point is wrong postulations in planning. We know that planning depends upon assumptions and conditions. If these are not relevant and reliable, then we cannot ensure the effectiveness of the strategies. Second point is laxities on the part of manager. Laxities means weaknesses of the managers, like the way strategies are interpreted by the managers fall between the wide range of discretion. Moreover, managers try to optimize their own units or departments at the cost of the interest of the whole organization. The third point, that is develop right reward system, means that evaluation of strategies provide inputs for the related rewards of the employees. Next point is formulation of new strategies. We know that today's control is futures planning. Whenever we are to formulate new strategies, we need to assess the present ones. Similarly, by evaluating the present strategies, we come to know the weak points which hinder the progress and help us to modify the present strategies. Regarding the next point, we know strategy implementation requires the involvement of so many functional departments, and in order to integrate the individual efforts of all the people and units, we have to evaluate the strategies. Strategy validation is something which cannot be easily ignored because it determines the strategy implementation and the ultimate success too. Lastly, the managers are to take a number of decisions which are vital and depends upon the strategic evaluation. Now the question arises, who does strategic evaluation? Board of directors are the representatives of stakeholders in the democratic setup of the corporate management. It is the board that does this critical work. CEO has the final responsibility of strategic evaluation and control if he is all in the organization. Otherwise, ownership pattern of the organization determine the appropriate authority to evaluate and control. Financial controllers, company secretaries and auditors, all these people are responsible for operational control based on financial analysis, budgeting and budgetary control. Audit and executive committees, these are set up by board of directors or the CEO and given the responsibility of continuous monitoring. Strategic business units are to evaluate the departmental or unit level performance and are to report to the corporate level. Middle level and other managers do participate in strategic control and evaluation and to provide the necessary feedback. Now we'll discuss barriers in strategic evaluation and control. The very first point, that is limits of control. The exact limits of control as to minimum and maximum is a big problem. This is the toughest task for the strategist to determine the degree of control. In both the cases, employees do not feel motivated. Regarding measurement difficulties, these should be, the measurement process should be reliable, valid, and valid methods of evaluation are very important. Last but not the least, human nature. That is, human nature resist evaluation, especially of the average or the poor performers. They do not like to get evaluated because they like to hide their inefficiencies. Now, how to overcome these barriers? One has to overcome the barriers because every problem has a solution. We can overcome these barriers with strategic control and by operational control. Under strategic control, we have 4 types of controls. The first one is premise control. It is already made clear that every strategy is made on certain assumptions relating to environment of the organization. Premise control is must to identify the key postulations and keep track of any change in them. Implementation control. It is to evaluate whether plans, programs and projects are actually guiding the organization towards its predetermined goals or not. Strategic surveillance is more of generalized and broad-based monitoring to identify the critical factors which are likely to affect the strategy of the organization. Under operational control, before we discuss operational control, special alert control. The alert control is based on a trigger mechanism for immediate assessment of the given strategy in light of a sudden and unexpected event. Nowadays, all the countries are exercising this type of control to face the pandemic, that is coronavirus. The last one is operational control. This is to gauge the overall performance of the organization, and there are two types of operational control. First one is post-action control and the other one is steering control. Post-action control measures the results after an action is completed, like return on investment and market share as compared to the last year, while steering control is designed to detect variations from the standards only and correcting actions are undertaken before the operation is fully completed. Thank you, students. The next part of the topic will be continued. Hello students. In the previous lecture, we have done basics of strategy evaluation and control. Continuing the same topic, we will start with the process of control. There are 4 basic steps in the process of control. The first one is setting performance standards, which answers 3 questions. That is, how standards are to be set, what standards are to be set, and in what terms. The third question indicates the parameters or performance indicators. These are qualitative and quantitative in nature. The quantitative parameters are expressed in numerical form and results are quantified. Like ratios, we can calculate to measure the financial health, productivity, profitability, liquidity, operational efficiency, etc. There are 2 ways of using quantitative criteria. One is comparing the present performance with the past. Another is to compare the results with the industry averages. Whereas qualitative parameters are subjective and non-quantifiable, like capabilities, competencies, risk-bearing capacity, strategic clarity, flexibility and workability, etc. The second step is measuring the performance. It is making use of parameters, both quantitative and qualitative, to gauge actual performance. Regarding third step, that is variance analysis, it is the process of comparing actual performance with the standard to find out the nature and the extent of deviation. Taking corrective action. Under taking corrective actions, we can have 3 options. Like correcting the performance, first of all, with regard to organizational structure, system and behavioral implementation. Secondly, we can change the standards after waiting for considerable time. Thirdly, we can change the strategies, plans and objectives as the last resort. Now we'll talk about techniques of strategic evaluation and control. These are again divided into 2 parts. Strategic momentum control for those organizations which are functioning under relatively stable environmental conditions, and the other type of control is leap control for organizations which are functioning under constantly turbulent situations. Strategic momentum control. Further, it has 3 techniques. First one is responsibility control centers. So these centers are created in the organization whose head is responsible for all the activities under his purview. These centers can be built as revenue, expense, profit, and investment centers. Second point under this is underlying success factors. In this, focus is on identification of key success factors which are most important and unavoidable to achieve the goals behind the chosen strategy. Under generic strategies approach, it works on the assumption that the strategies followed by similar organizations need to be compared in the competitive environment. The second part of control, that is leap control. Under this, we can say the efforts are made to adjust the vibrant and disturbing situations of challenges and threats. It has 4 sub-techniques. The first one is strategic issue management. It is to identify one or more strategic issues and their implications on the organization. Strategic field analysis is the examination of nature and extent of synergies that exist or are lacking behind the components of an organization. System modeling. These are computer-based models which enable the organization to assess the impact of environment on the firm and help to act accordingly. Writing of scenarios. Under this technique, a set of scenarios can be written with various permutations and combinations of environmental forces, and resulting strategies can be prepared to fit most to the likely situation. The other type of control is operational control. These are based on the internal analysis of the organization as against the external environmental scanning, which is under the jurisdiction of strategic control, and these are further divided into 4 parts. The very first one is financial techniques. These mainly relate to financial analysis of the organization. Under this, we can talk about budgetary control. First of all, budgetary control is the establishment of budgets relating to the responsibilities of executives of a policy and continuous comparison of the actual with the budgeted results. Whereas zero-based budgeting is a process which starts from zero with all expenses justified. It works on the principle of periodic reevaluation of plans, programs and projects to decide whether or not a change in resource allocation is required to achieve given goals. Then financial analysis, although historical in nature but very powerful technique. It includes ratio analysis, comparative analysis, trend analysis over a period of time. Partha system is an indigenous system used by Marwari business units to keep track of daily cash generation. The other type is network technique. It's a part of operation research, and the most common versions are PERT and CPM, and network to have effective operational control over projects with regard to cost and performance. Management by objectives, according to Peter F. Drucker, the founder of the concept. It is based on regular evaluation of performance against objectives that are decided mutually by juniors and seniors, which ultimately ensures the commitment and self-control of all the employees. Memorandum of Understanding. It is an agreement between the enterprise and the controlling authority where the parties to the agreement express their commitments and responsibilities. Though this concept is generally used in public sector units but can be effectively used in private sectors too. Now we'll discuss role of organizational systems in the evaluation. There are a number of support systems for activating the strategy formulation and implementation, and these are information system first of all, or we can say MIS. This is the most important system in the organization as it helps in the flow of information from top to bottom in terms of plans, instructions or orders, and from bottom to top in terms of progress reports. Secondly, control system. Recently we have done that this system sets standards of performance, measures performance, analyzes performance, and suggests the ways for corrective action. Appraisal system. It gauges the efforts made by managers towards the attainment of organizational goals and facilitates evaluation process to measure the actual performance and forms the basis of control system. Motivation system is to persuade the performers to contribute their best. The effectiveness of the motivation system causes deviations, either positive or negative. Hence, we cannot ignore the role of motivation system in the organizational setup. Development system dwells manpower inventory and bringing about strategic change in their knowledge and skill levels to perform as expected. Last but not the least, planning. Planning system is a continuous, planning itself is a continuous process and required for the whole process of strategic management, that is formulation, implementation, evaluation and control of strategies. Thank you students. Hope you understood the topic. This was just the overview of the chapter 9, Strategy, Evaluation and Control. Do study in detail.